After finding her on February 3, 2008, Rebecca Fenton dialed 911. The body of their spouse was found on the Florida house's floor.
What is your emergency? My emergency is I think my husband's been shot. My house has been burglarized. I just walked in. I'm not getting a pulse on him. I just came in from the gym.
Okay, what is the address there, ma'am?
It looks like a burglary. My God.
Rebecca looked devastated to learn that her husband had died, and she continued to cry as she spoke with the police and the officer examining her body when they arrived at the scene. Larry Fenton's body was found lying just inside the doorway to his home. The cause of death appeared to be 2 gunshot wounds to his neck and back. But then something odd happened. While the police were still looking into her husband's death, Rebecca's tear disappeared, and she was spotted laughing as if nothing had happened. This was shortly after the journalist arrived. To be questioned, Rebecca was brought in.
Just general information from you.
Do you
and
have
then
any
we'll talk about
answers? Have you found anything else?
Not yet. No, I haven't. I don't have any information. The other officers are out on the scene doing what they have to do. Okay.
The lady said that it was going to take some time.
Yes, it will. It usually forensics comes out there. They do the processing, and
It really doesn't matter if he's gone.
but the more evidence, obviously, we can get, processing the scene, the better it will be, and the quicker it will be to capture who's done this.
Good.
Okay. Okay.
Do we have an idea? Anything? The neighbors? Did anybody?
The other officers are out there talking to the neighbors. They're doing canvassing, but they haven't gotten back to me yet. So there's more going on at the scene.
All right.
No, that's okay.
It's something.
No.
Something.
Right. Well, once we're done talking, then I can report back to the scene, and then they can probably give me some more
But
updated
they
information.
the lady, the
right now.
men, they told me that he's definitely gone, that he can't be brought back to life or nothing.
No.
What do you need to know?
Okay. As far as work goes, are you currently working?
I do a little bit of modeling for Bright House, but I wouldn't consider it work.
Okay.
I do a lot of charity work. I'm going to break my anonymity. I'm in Alcoholics Anonymous. I've been sober 3 years.
Okay.
And I do a lot of work with PAR and rehab, so
Okay.
I don't work, but
Okay. Do you have an agent?
do you have an angel?
No, an agent for your modeling career.
A friend.
Okay. So it's like private. You're not with an agency. Okay.
When this incident happened, we have an in-law apartment in the back that we turned into a gym. I was in the gym,
Okay.
in our gym, when this happened.
Okay. Tell me about today, when you guys first got up. Anything unusual or strange happen in the morning? First of all, what time did you guys get up?
I had to get up a little bit earlier than usual because I was taking a girl that I have to tell you, I'm in the program. I hate to break my anonymity, but it has a lot to do with my life.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the girls that I sponsor is in the PAR program. I had to pick her up to take her to a morning meeting that started at 9:45.
Okay.
And that meeting is probably 200 people saw us there.
Okay.
Larry had told me before his trip that he didn't want to do anything. He was going to go to the gym,
Uh-huh.
come home, do a little bit of work on his laptop, and then he was going to watch golf.
Mhm.
Something about Tiger Woods playing in Dubai, and then, of course, try to take a nap.
Mm-hmm.
Because this poor guy went to bed early, and he wanted to stay awake for the Super Bowl.
Right. Okay.
And that's where he was left when this happened.
Okay.
Where was Larry when I walked in the door? He was in the living room,
Okay.
and he was already watching TV.
Remember what you was watching?
Yeah, I joked with him.
Okay.
I said, the only thing that woods are good for is hunting and hiking.
Mm-hmm.
It's a joke that we have about Tiger Woods.
Okay, but he was watching golf at that
He
point.
had his feet up on the coffee table. He does it every set.
Okay.
Sunday. Said that he wanted to take a nap
Mhm.
so that he could try to stay up for the Super Bowl. I did come in at one point, just kind of check on him.
Mhm.
I was like, how's it going? Joked with him. Who plays golf in Dubai? Where is that place?
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, oh, yeah, but I bet you know all about Mary Kay. And we just joked.
Right.
And it was just a checking on him, I was sitting on the ball when I heard a noise.
Okay.
But it didn't sound like a pop. It sounded like somebody dropped something.
Okay.
And I also had music on real loud. So I continued to keep working out, and then all of a sudden I was like, and I wasn't concerned. I just was...
You heard something that sounded like you said it dropped.
Something dropped.
Now,
Something fell off the roof.
Was it one noise? Was it several noises?
No, it was one.
Okay.
It was it sounded like something fell off the roof.
Okay.
And I kept on doing my sit-ups. And then I realized, I was like, let me go check on him. But it wasn't because of the noise. Periodically, we just check on each other.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And
from the gym, what route did you take?
Walked into the back door.
Okay.
My husband was laying in the foyer.
Okay.
There was blood everywhere. He was laying face down.
Okay.
Is the back door open or shut?
Do you mean open, not locked?
Open, standing open?
No, it was shut, but it was not locked.
Is the front door locked?
The front door was not locked unless he got it to lock it, which I doubt, because I walked out the front door to go out to my car and grab some Where and When and some pamphlets on some sponsorship for AA earlier. And Larry wouldn't get up and lock the front door. He'll do all that at night.
Do you guys normally leave your doors open, unlocked?
Not the front door, no.
Okay.
The front door is set up so that when you, I feel like I can't think. I feel like my mind's not inside of my head.
That's okay.
I haven't wrapped
Right. Well,
my mind around the fact that
it's a huge shock.
Rebecca believes she heard a loud blast while working out in the makeshift gym behind their house. She ignored the noise at first, which the investigators considered quite weird, but soon she would use their home's back door to check on her husband. Larry appeared to have been trying to flee out the front door because of the way his body was arranged. An image taken from the back. The problem was that typically a thief would flee when they came across a homeowner. Larry's watch and wallet were stolen, and it looked as though someone had run about the house taking out random drawers, trying to make it look like a robbery. There should not have been a need for a thief to kill the homeowner because Larry had been shot in the back and was likely fleeing the criminal.
As far as firearms in the house, guns, firearms, guns.
we did own a gun.
Okay.
We bought one very, very recently.
You just have one gun in the house?
Yes.
Okay. Is it a handgun? Is it a shotgun or rifle?
It's something that, it's a handgun.
A handgun.
I don't know a lot about it, but we bought it recently, and it's registered, so I can't tell you the exact date.
Is it registered to you or your husband?
Don't quote me. I think Larry told me that it was legal for both of us to use, but only if we used it in the house.
Okay.
Like I couldn't put it in my car or tote it around in my purse.
Right.
And again, don't quote me. I think Larry told me that it was legal for him and for I, but that it had to be used inside of our house.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kept in our bedroom.
Did you ever fire it?
No.
You ever handle it?
No. Larry and I talked about going to the firing range, and I was kind of leery about it. We just never did it, and then we never saw the whack job again. So it was like, well, it's there if we need it, and then we don't have to worry about it.
Okay.
And we never saw the guy again, never had a problem.
Just real quick off of that, when I stepped out, I got a call from some people at the scene, and I guess there's a cell phone there. Whose cell phone would that be? Open cell phone on the ground, do you know?
It wouldn't be mine. Mine's on me.
Yours is on you? Does your husband have a cell phone?
Yes, he does. And when you open it up, there's a picture of me.
Okay.
So you picked up the gun before, but just by like
He brought it home and he showed it to me, and I was just kind of like, I was like, we haven't seen this guy in a while. And he was like, I'm going to take you down the gun range. I'm going to show you how to shoot it so you're perfectly comfortable with it. We don't see the nut ball again, then fine. when I'm out of town, if you ever need it. He said, but I will tell you this, it's only legal to use in the house. You can't go toting it around.
Right.
He joked with me, said, you can't get PMS and think that you want it. And I was like, I understand.
Right.
And he was like, this is where it's going to be kept.
Where did you guys keep it in the house?
We kept it in our armoire, in our bedroom, in the third drawer on the left side.
Okay. Was it in a gun case?
It was in like a canvas.
Did it come with the gun? In other words, or was it just a canvas case that you guys...
No, I think that it came.
Interestingly, the police discovered Larry's car was parked inside the house, less than a block away from where they had initially discovered it, on the side of the road, while they were examining the crime scene. They discovered everything that had been taken from Larry's house, including the cash. Why would a criminal kill a non-threatening homeowner, take anything valuable they could find, steal a car from the driveway, and leave everything inside a house that was less than 2 blocks
How
away?
many cars do you have? We have 2 vehicles. It took me probably 15, 20 minutes after everybody arrived. I was talking to a police officer, and it dawned on me that my husband's vehicle was missing. And I turned to him, I go, where the hell is my husband's Jeep?
Where's the keys for the Jeep?
There's a old antique desk in our dining room.
Is that on the first floor or the second floor?
On the first floor.
It's in an antique desk in the dining room.
Yeah, he keeps that. He keeps his wallet.
He keeps all that in there?
When he comes in.
Okay, so he wouldn't sit around the house with his keys in his pocket?
No. No, I can tell you exactly. We both keep our keys.
How many people know where you keep your keys?
Me and my husband.
Nobody else?
No. Nobody's been in our house, even good friends. It's kind of been a choice of ours, but also we just...
Does he leave any keys in the car?
Never.
Is there a spare key in the car, a hide a key or something?
I don't know if my husband has a hide a key or a spare key to his Jeep. I know that there's 2 sets of keys to my car.
And where are your sets?
I have a set on me. I have a set on me.
Okay.
And I have an extra set that's also in that antique desk. Larry had, I think I have 2 sets when we purchased the car. The 2005.
Did you have those keys on you today, or did you take them when you left?
I took them when I came in. I grabbed my keys. After I realized what had happened, I grabbed my keys off of, they were on the kitchen counter. And I grabbed them off the kitchen counter. When I realized that my house had been ransacked, I ran upstairs. When I saw how bad it was, my first thought was, I better get out of here.
Where was your house ransacked at?
Where?
The whole house, or any particular?
The living room. I noticed that the living room was, my bedroom was, our bedroom was, but especially my husband's office. And I went to reach on the floor for the phone, because that's where all of our numbers are. And I was like, let me get out of here. So I went out.
What floor did you go to?
The second floor.
Okay, so you came in, you saw
my
him.
Husband. I felt for his pulse.
And then you went upstairs?
Yes, I did.
What'd you go upstairs for?
Because when I turned the corner and saw the living room had been ransacked, I went upstairs to see what the hell had happened.
Okay.
And I yelled. I said, I'm loaded. I have the police following me. So if you're in my house, you better come out now.
Okay, then when did you call 911?
I saw that the house had been ransacked. I ran back down. I checked my husband again for a pulse.
Did he have a pulse the first time?
I couldn't tell.
What about the second time?
I didn't feel one, but I didn't know if I was feeling in the right place.
Okay, now...
I got out of the house. I went to my car, which was in the driveway. I opened up the door, and I called you guys.
During this question, Rebecca keeps reminding the investigators that she was crying and yelling while no one else was around. She does this to ensure that everyone knows that she is the victim.
Where's the nearest phone to your husband at that time?
The nearest phone to my husband would have been in the living room, but our living room phones, the buttons haven't been working recently.
Okay.
So my cell phone is sitting in my car. I would have had to have gone upstairs and either used his business line or used the landline that's upstairs. When I went upstairs, it wasn't to use the phone. It was to see what the hell had happened and if anybody else was still in my house. When I saw my husband's office and I saw my room had been ransacked, I ran back down the stairs. I checked Larry again.
Okay. Was anything ransacked on the first floor?
Yes, the living room. The living room was ransacked. The drawers had been pulled out. All of my self-help books had been pulled out. This just happened. I'm having a hard time remembering, but I'll do the best I can. And I think it was a good idea to move them.
Okay.
I just remember telling the lady, hurry, if we get an ambulance to him, maybe he's
Let
not
me just
dead.
ask you, why didn't you think it was a good idea to move him?
I just think that, well, I couldn't fathom the fact of what had happened. I couldn't.
What did you think happened?
There's something very wrong. He couldn't be dead. And if I could get an ambulance there fast enough, maybe they could help. I didn't think it was a good idea to touch him. I can remember being leery just to get a pulse. I guess I just watched too much TV, and it's like, don't touch, don't disturb.
What kind of TV would tell you that?
Just, I don't know, CSI, I guess, don't touch anything, stay, the minute you find out something's wrong, get outside, call the police. I just wanted to get an ambulance there because I wasn't sure whether he had a pulse or not. I didn't even know if I was checking even right. And if I got an ambulance there fast enough, maybe they could get it back.
Rebecca frequently claims that her main objective was to call for help as soon as possible. So if that's the case, why did she take so long to find an ambulance after going through 2 floors of her house and passing 2 landline phones to call 911 from outside?
You had no enemies, correct?
No.
You don't have any enemies?
No.
Is there anything of value in the house?
Jewelry. We don't have any money in the house.
But nobody's been in the house to know that's there, correct?
No.
Okay. Any marital problems?
No.
He has a couple of ex-wives, is that
Yes,
correct?
he does, and we've never had any problems from either one of them. One of them lives right down the road. We're not friends with them, but they don't give us any problems, and I've never physically seen either one of them.
Rebecca's neighbors would report to the authorities that she had lost a significant amount of weight in the past year. The investigator confronts her with this knowledge because he is puzzled as to why her appearance has altered so much.
And he had no enemies, correct?
No.
You don't have any enemies?
No.
Is there anything of value in the house?
Jewelry. We don't have any money in the house.
But nobody's been in the house to know that's there, correct?
No.
Okay. Any marital problems?
No.
He has a couple of ex-wives, is that
Yes, he
correct?
does, and we've never had any problems from either one of them. One of them lives right down the road. We're not friends with them, but they don't give us any problems, and I've never physically seen either one of them.
When Rebecca is asked about any phone calls she made, the detective asks her to relive her day so they can compare her account with the first time she told it. At that point, Rebecca admits to making a call on her cell phone while working out at her gym. This is where the story becomes inconsistent. Rebecca used to say she had to run to her car to retrieve her phone so she could call 911, but now she claims to have had it with her while working out. Sadly, the investigators overlooked this information.
Did you get any phone calls during that time period you were home, or make any phone calls?
Did I make any phone calls? No. I did get a phone call from a girl that I sponsor, and I told, as a matter of fact, I was in the gym when I got the call.
Is there a phone in the gym, or she called your cell phone?
She called my cell phone.
Okay.
And I said to Gail, is this important? Do you think you're going to drink? Are you having any problems? What are your thoughts and feelings? She goes, no, I'm just checking in with you.
Okay.
And I said, listen, I'm working out right now. And
That's
she
the
goes,
same girl you were with earlier?
no, this is a different
Okay.
one.
So it was just a quick conversation while you were in the gym.
Yeah, it was like, you know, you gonna drink? If you're not gonna drink, and you know, you're not flipping off the walls and flipping in or whatever, and everything's okay, I do care, but let me finish my workout and I'll give you a call.
Right. Okay. Were there any other phone calls today that came or went from
After I came home.
Mm-hmm.
None of my...
The crime scene itself is another problem they face. Since the intruder would have entered through the front door, Larry would have heard and seen him from the couch in the living room. How could the intruder get behind Larry to shoot him if he was in the way of the front door? Additionally, why would the intruder? The thief chose to target this house in the middle of the day, with 2 parked cars in the driveway. Why did the thief stay around to loot the house, which would have taken at least 5 minutes?
So if somebody came in, he would have been downstairs?
He was downstairs, and if somebody would have walked in, they wouldn't have immediately saw him.
Uh-huh.
They would have had to gone in a little bit and seen him at the end of the couch. They wouldn't have walked in the front door. And
Somebody have walked in and walked upstairs without seeing him?
Could somebody have walked in and walked upstairs and not seen him? Absolutely.
You think so?
Yeah, because our staircase is right there. They could have walked right into the front door, but he would have heard them.
You would have heard
Oh,
them gone
absolutely.
upstairs. So the person that ransacked the place probably killed him first, you think?
I'm sorry. There's no way that you could have torn that house to smithereens without Larry knowing it in the way that he was laying. He must have heard somebody come in the door because it looks where he was laying like, not maybe there's a confrontation, but he came into the foyer. There's no reason for him to come in the foyer unless he was crossing over the kitchen to get something to eat.
I'm just trying to understand this. What type of person shoot somebody, make that noise, and then take time to ransack a house?
I don't know. I can't answer that. I have no idea what happened. And I didn't hear.
And you didn't hear the car leave?
No.
Where was his car at in reference to where you were?
My car's parked here. He's parked here.
In the dirt?
Yeah,
He
he
would have
parked.
been in the
Yeah,
dirt.
he gets to park in the dirt. I get the driveway. Sometimes he'll bring it around.
They
and
really
park it.
tore the house up?
What'd you
They
say?
really tore your house up?
I didn't
I mean,
look that
they
well.
knocked things over, knocked over big items, tipped things over.
Yeah, it looked like the living room, the stereo system had been knocked over. I can remember that. Drawers pulled out.
But nothing was taken. The stereo was still there. The TV was still there.
From my antique store. We've got 3 pieces. They could be somebody's retirement, for God's sakes.
And that was still there?
There were paintings in there that are worth $17,000 to $25,000. This person didn't know they were antiques. They didn't know they're paintings. Right above
What
our
were they
fire.
looking for then?
You're asking me questions I can't answer. I don't know. We don't have money in our house. My
Do you have a safe in
expensive...
the house?
No. No, we don't. And my expensive jewelry is kept in a sewing box that it's an old-fashioned antique sewing box, and unless you know that the middle opens sort of like a Chinese puzzle box.
Mm-hmm.
How long have you been in that house?
Let me think for a second. I think 4 years, but I can't think straight. And
Did he or you ever sell drugs out of that house?
no,
No.
absolutely not.
So somebody wouldn't be looking for illegal drugs?
No. I am clean and sober.
Just
Like
trying to
that.
figure out why somebody would spend that much time in your house.
I don't know. I'm not sure what happened.
Do you have any questions of me?
I'm just trying to get my mind wrapped around the fact that he's he's gone, and I just want to know. To say, tell me who did this, but at this point I'm just feeling like it really doesn't matter who did it because he's gone. So I want to know when I'm going to be allowed to go back into my home and see if anything's missing. Do you have any answers? Anything? Has anything come through?
Not
The
yet.
neighbors?
Takes a long time to get in the house and process. It could take all night.
That's what the woman said.
They're very meticulous.
Good. It's good.
And if the suspect was all over the house, they're gonna have to process.
Left something behind, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it was one person? Or are we looking at more than one person?
I don't know because I haven't been into the scene. I don't know.
Although Rebecca is not yet in custody, the detectives have their suspicions and ask her if they may conduct some checks before letting her leave, particularly checks on her hands for gunpowder residue.
Is just do forensics, do some processing. They're just going to take photographs of you. Okay, they're just going to test your hands and collect some clothing. Okay, we have clothes here. We'll give you t-shirt and shorts. Okay, and then that's it. Okay.
We're gonna put you in your room, but we're gonna ask that you don't wash your hands. Okay?
Right, I understand.
Because you understand we have to rule you out because you were there, right?
The woman explained to me because I signed something and it said something about accused, and then it was she had to come in the bathroom with me, so I didn't wash my hands. So all of a sudden, I said, "Am I a suspect?" And she very calmly explained that this is a procedure and this is how it goes and this is why it goes like this. And
See, we want to do this because we don't want somebody to say 3 months from now after we did nothing with you that you did it. You see what we're saying?
I don't understand what you're saying. No.
That's the purpose of us doing this, to eliminate you since you were at the house.
Okay.
So if somewhere down the line somebody says 3 months, somebody down the line accuses you for whatever reason, we can say, well, we did this, this, and this, and...
Great.
Okay.
Yeah,
You haven't shot a gun recently, have you?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't.
During the testing, the investigators had a suspicion that the material they tested for contained no gunpowder. Despite having the opportunity to discuss, they were unable to comprehend Rebecca's actions upon the discovery of her husband's body.
Try to get your line of thinking here. We were thinking about this, and both of us are married, and we thought, well, if this happened to us, we don't think we would have left our spouse's side during that time. I mean, especially if we thought there was some hope that they were alive.
I got scared. I thought the best thing for me to do was to get out of the house.
What were you scared of at that time?
What had happened? Call the police. Get people there as soon as possible.
What I don't understand, though, is why you take the time to go upstairs. The danger upstairs, the unknown upstairs. Why would you put yourself in that situation?
I wondered if somebody was still in my house.
What were you going to do if you ran across somebody?
I don't know. I don't know. Probably get killed.
Still, what about, wouldn't your main concern be, what if he's still alive, maybe I can help him?
Of course I wanted to help him.
But you left.
I walked outside and called the police. I left the scene. I walked outside and called the police.
And left your husband.
And asked them to get an ambulance there as quick as possible. Because I wasn't for sure that he was dead. I didn't know if he'd been shot or if he'd been stabbed. And could they get an ambulance there as quick as possible?
But you didn't attempt any CPR, didn't stay with him. I mean, why did you leave?
I thought it was a smart thing to do. Get out of the house, not, get out of the house and call the police. That's what I was thinking. And horrified by what I had seen, what had happened. I wasn't sure what had happened.
After Rebecca notices 2 wounds on her husband's back that paramedics missed, she admits her error to the cops. Before they took off Larry's shirt, how could Rebecca have known the number of wounds or where they were?
That there were 2 wounds, though, when all that's starting to coagulate and run together. They had to actually physically remove clothes to see how many wounds there were.
He was laying on the floor with his face like this. His eyes were open.
Right.
I saw a wound here, and I saw a wound what looked like in the middle of his back.
And what did these wounds look like?
He had either been shot or he had been stabbed.
Why do you say that? What did the wounds look like?
They didn't look like wounds. They looked like blood. I didn't see wounds. I saw blood on his clothes.
What color was his sweater?
It was a white, grayish sweatshirt he was wearing.
Dark or light?
It was light.
And then, all right, so then you check the house and there's nobody there, obviously, right?
Right.
So why'd you leave your husband there?
Call the police. Should I have stayed with them and
There was
put him
no
in my lab?
There was no phone in the house, or
There was a phone in the house. I
We're
did
just
not.
trying to understand why you did what you did.
Did he say anything? Could you see his chest rising and falling? Did you tell if he was breathing?
No, but I thought that he might be alive because his eyes were open. And I just bent down. I was like, Larry? Larry?
Did he make any sounds
No.
at any point?
No. And I got up and I went outside and I called the police. If I had known that I was supposed to be with him, or hold him, or do CPR, then I would have. I think that I'm trying to think of what I was thinking.
Did the 911 operator ask you if he's breathing? What did the 911 operator? What did you tell them?
I said, I believe my house has just been burglarized and it looks like my husband could possibly be deceased, but I can't tell. She said, where are you calling from? I gave her my last name and my address. I was hysterical, so you'll have to listen to the tape to know what I said exactly. I didn't think it was wise for me to touch him, to get blood on me, to turn him over, to do anything like that. I thought that would just either make things worse for the scene. I didn't know if anybody was still in my house the first time when I found him. I guess if you guys would have shown up and I would have had blood all over me, I guess it might have incriminated me. I did think that he might still be alive because his eyes were open.
The detectives would have to conclude the investigation even though they thought there was a problem with her story. Interview, so before she leaves, let her go. Rebecca is curious as to why the crime scene defies logic.
I'm just a little concerned about the last questions that have been asked because they don't make sense to me.
What do you mean the last questions have been asked?
When you're, how could somebody have known that those keys went to that Jeep?
You asked that. I didn't ask.
I know. I've got some questions. Like there's a few things here that don't make sense. Why would they take keys? How could they have known that it belonged to a Jeep? You're telling me a neighbor tells me the Jeep wasn't there.
And didn't you say you took your keys off the counter?
I took the keys off the breakfast counter.
Why wouldn't
they have taken them? They're out in the open. And take the Hyundai. The Hyundai is nothing. Hyundai's clearer, a better car. It's closer. It's right there. So I guess I'm just a little concerned that there's some questions here that aren't making sense to me.
They're not making sense to us either.
Okay.
You're hoping maybe you could shed some light on it.
I don't know how
Rebecca was released and she was told she was not allowed to go home for several days. This made Rebecca very angry, and she demanded to be allowed to go home. Even for just a few minutes, the police held firm, and she was forced to stay with a close friend the following day. The investigators decided to search her car that was sitting in the driveway under the driver's seat They found a man's watch in the murder weapon. The gun was registered to Larry, and it was the same one Rebecca was talking about during her interview. Testing confirmed that it was indeed the weapon that was used to kill Larry, but there were no fingerprints found anywhere on the gun. The detectives decided not to confront Rebecca, at least until they had more evidence tying her to the murder. This decision would lead to the case remaining unsolved for over 5 years. During this time, Rebecca tried to get her husband's very large life insurance policy, but because there were so many unanswered questions, the insurance company refused to pay it out. Rebecca would begin to struggle with her bills, and then one day she received a notice from the bank telling her they would be foreclosing on her home. Strangely enough, not long after receiving this correspondence, Rebecca would get a very substantial insurance settlement shortly after the fire broke out, and shortly after that, the police would arrest Alfred Noland, a small-time burglar, because the fire department was unable to determine how the fire started. Rebecca's home would catch blaze. When Alfred sensed he was about to violate his parole, he told the police a tale about Rebecca Fenton. Alfred asserted that he had briefly lived with and dated Rebecca, and he recalled her while she was having financial difficulties. The police had enough evidence to bring Rebecca in for another interrogation, which would only last a few minutes. Once Rebecca realized what was going on, she demanded a lawyer. Unfortunately, they already had an arrest warrant signed by a judge. According to Alfred, during their fight about money while he was living with her, Rebecca grabbed a kitchen knife and threatened Alfred with it, saying she would kill him just like she did Larry. After her workout, she returned inside to discover Larry watching TV on the couch. She then went upstairs, took the gun, and went back downstairs to face him. As soon as Larry saw the rifle, he jumped up and hurried to the front door, where Rebecca discharged the weapon at her husband. Rebecca thought she would just need to set up a break-in and load up Larry's car with a few items. However, she ran out of time and had to abandon the car a few blocks away. She then ran back home, cleaned the gun residue off her hands, and concealed the gun under her seat, thinking she could dispose of it properly later. The evidence they had, along with Alfred's testimony, convinced the jury that Rebecca was guilty. Rebecca was found guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in jail without the chance of release. What are your thoughts on this case? Was Rebecca put up, or is she simply a cold-blooded murderer?